Hello, Cyberius Wolf here. I have been playing Necromunda, I've been streaming it and YouTubing it pretty much since the very first day it came out. Went all the way through the story mode, I've played plenty of operations, and I've been meaning to make this video for a little while actually, but with the imminent release of the Van Sars it's kind of spurred me on and made me want to go ahead and really talk about what I think they can do to maybe try and save the game, which I think it's fair to say has dropped off a little bit in popularity. First off, there are some pretty obvious issues that I think we can probably all agree on. They got to get rid of the crashes and the little glitches that are happening for people, like the corrupted save files. They got to stamp that out once and for all. That kind of goes without saying. The AI needs work. If they improve the multiplayer, that may not be so much of an issue because people actually want to play multiplayer more. But yeah, more work on the AI would obviously be helpful. And I think the other thing that is just a must do is for all 6 houses to be put into the game as soon as possible. Those guys all need to be there. It's like the basis of the original game. It's what really kind of makes the setting what it is. So yeah, those are the obvious things. We can kind of, I think, all agree that those things need to happen. For me though, there are a number of issues that they could also address that I think might bring people back into the fold and actually make me want to play a lot more as well. The main one, for me, is that they need to make the multiplayer more attractive, and I think there's a couple of ways they could do that. Right now, you just go on, you sort of like queue to play somebody random for a little while, or you have to organize it with a friend. You play with gangs that may be close or far apart in terms of value, so people are trying to build up to like extreme high level gangs, but then if somebody new comes along and tries to play, they get thrown into the lion's den. It doesn't seem like the ideal setup, and it's made me reluctant to want to jump into multiplayer too. So there's a couple of ways they can go. The first one, and I think the one that would actually work best for this game, is to adopt a similar situation to Blood Bowl. Specifically, I'm talking about what is the current Blood Bowl game, at least for the moment, Blood Bowl 2, and that is where they have a sort of season that lasts for, I don't know, a month, 2 months, where you start a fresh team and you play it through that period and you just spin for matches and your team goes throughout depending on how much you play. It tries to match you as close as it can to other people, but where need be, it kind of adds in inducements to try and at least give the lower player a fighting chance. I feel like with Necromunda, it's actually set up pretty well for that. You have your gang ratings already in there, so you could create a new gang, and whenever you felt like playing, you could just go on and spin, try and find other people that are playing, and your gang would gradually increase. There would probably need to be a leaderboard as well for the number of wins and losses. It just seems to make sense in these circumstances. And you would have a reason to play, because right now there's not much attraction, like trying to work your way up the leaderboard. That gives you something to play for. It doesn't have to be a huge prize at the end. Just coming first. Maybe they even introduce some kind of, customization that they give to the people that sort of come within the top little bit of the table. Just something to make you want to go on and play against other people. I think that would be essential, and it really works for Blood Bowl. I'm not saying it's not without issues, but on the whole, it makes me play Blood Bowl all the time. So the other mode I think they could adapt is that Total War Warhammer has adapted, which is just the ability to just do a real quick play game where you just quickly scrabble together a gang and you would throw it into a quick game. That way you'd be able to do sort of tournaments and whatnot, especially for like say streamer tournaments like they do so often, and that scene has really thrived as well seemingly. So I think that would be pretty easy as well. You just have it set up so you'd set to a set number of points and you would just quickly throw your game together in whatever way you felt best and just play. So I think those are the 2 modes. I think the League one is possibly the one that has the best chance of longevity because people are always going to want to try and improve what they did from last season. I think Blood Bowl is in its 30-something season. Who even knows? But yeah, it is definitely something that does work, and would make me want to jump into multiplayer more. Anywho, that's enough about multiplayer. There are a few other things that I think would help, but I don't think are as important as that. House uniqueness, it would be great to see the houses kind of pull apart from each other a little bit more in how they play. The skills in the game did overlap, like in the tabletop game, but they definitely made the gangs tend to lean towards a certain direction. In this, there's not too much difference, it doesn't feel like, between the gangs. They've put in a little bit, but you could pretty much build any gang like any other gang if you really wanted to. I don't know exactly the best way to implement that. I just think it would be worth thinking about and seeing if they could pull them apart a little bit more. It'd be interesting to see when Van Saar drop in, if they add anything to that. Alongside that, I actually feel like a little bit more customization options would be nice. Whilst what they've given us in terms of outfit and color choices are pretty varied, and I quite like that. There's some weird omissions to that though, like the hairstyles, for instance. I play Escher mostly. There's like 5 or 6 hairstyles, and what, you can have a gang theoretically up to 15 people. So either you're repeating a hairstyle all the way through your gang a lot. If you come up against another gang, you're going to keep seeing the same ones. There's a few things where there's very small options and they're quite big. I always like kind of being able to vary up those things a bit more. It's really not going to make people come back to the game. It's just something that I personally would really like. I have that with every game. I have the same issues in Blood Bowl as well. There's not enough customization of heads and whatnot. It's like, I've got 11 players, but I've only got 5 head choices, so I have to spread them across the whole thing. Last thing that I think could really help make the game a little bit more varied to play would be perhaps more attacker-defender missions. Right now, it feels like the only thing that varies from the everybody charge towards the middle and try and get the objectives are when you attack somebody's base. And that is a little variety, but in the tabletop game, there were a ton of attacker-defender missions. The hit and run ones were always great because there was such variety, whether it was just one gang trying to like make its way through an area and try and cause as much like carnage as possible. Maybe you'd be attacking a certain structure like a water still or something like that. Perhaps you had a hostage from the other gang. There's a lot of different things they could do. I don't necessarily expect them to be able to put in stuff like raids and rescue missions, although those were really cool. Because of the slow pace of those ones, I'm not sure they would work, but there's definitely room for more than just, grab a couple of crates if you can, but ultimately you need to focus on shooting them down fast. Maybe just a little bit more variety in gameplay would really kind of help lift it up and make it sort of, oh, what am I playing this time? Rather than, oh, it's collect the, grog, or collect the science stuff, or collect the batteries, which is like 90% of the missions right now. Anyway, that's just a few things that have been striking me in terms of just some improvements they could put in. I really want to see the game succeed, honestly. It seems like it's struggling already for numbers, but I would love to see it do well because it looks great. It has the feel right, honestly. The Underhive looks amazing in this. It's pretty much exactly how I would visualize it. So they've done great on certain aspects of it. It just seems like they rushed with the AI and rushed before getting all the gangs ready. I mean, maybe that was intentional, who knows? But either way, those gangs need putting in because everybody has their favorite gang, and right now you can't do them. They need those 6 key gangs in, and then gradually start to filter in the cool, crazy ones like your Atskins or your Redemptionists or there's all sorts they can do. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you agree with, disagree with, any other ideas. Who knows, maybe they'll see it and actually make some changes. But I feel like we probably, if you're watching this video, you want this to succeed as much as I do. So fingers crossed they do some stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.